Building great software can feel like you're trying to navigate a maze in the dark. It's just so complex. For decades, teams have pretty much relied on gut feelings and their best guesses. But what if there was a way to turn on the lights? A way to get through all that complexity using hard facts, not just hunches? Well, that's exactly what we're going to dig into today.
Okay, so to really get this, we've got to start with the core problem, a challenge that has honestly haunted software development pretty much since day one.
And this quote, wow, it just gets right to the heart of it. We've all been there, right? That sinking feeling when a project goes over budget, a deadline just flies by, or the final product, it just doesn't live up to the original vision. It's probably the most frustrating and persistent problem in the entire industry.
And here's the thing. That problem is only getting worse. I mean, think about it. Software isn't some niche thing anymore. It's woven into the very fabric of our lives. It's in our cars, our phones, even our coffee makers. And as that complexity has just exploded, the old informal ways of building things, well, they just can't keep up. They start to crack under all that pressure. So what this all points to is a really fundamental shift in how we think about our work. We've got to move away from seeing software development as a craft, something based on individual talent and intuition, and start treating it like a true engineering discipline, one that's grounded in numbers, in hard evidence, and in a culture that actually values facts. Because unlike a craft, engineering is designed to handle complexity and scale.
All right, so if treating software like a craft is the problem, what's the fix? What does this engineering solution actually look like? How do we build that fact-driven culture?
Well, the answer, in a single word, is numeracy. Just think about how a civil engineer relies on incredibly precise measurements to build a bridge that won't collapse. We need to do the same thing. We need to embrace a culture of quantification. That means measuring our work, getting constant feedback from that data, and using it to learn and get better.
And that brings us to the hero of our story, the Software Measurement Program. Now, I know, that might sound a bit corporate, a little dry, but look closer at that definition. It's a socio-technical system. It's not just about tools and data, the technical part. It's just as much about the socio, the people, and the decisions that they need to make.
And honestly, this might be the most important point of all. You can collect mountains of data. You could have the most beautiful dashboards in the world. But if no one is empowered to actually make a decision based on what they see, then all that data is completely useless. It's just noise. It's the human element, the stakeholder, that turns raw numbers into meaningful action.
I love this visual because it shows the program as a kind of engine, right? You feed it inputs, all this information from your products, your processes, your people, and what comes out the other side is incredibly valuable. We're talking better decisions, deeper insights, and maybe most importantly, early warnings that can save a project from going completely off the rails.
All right, so we get the idea of the program, but that brings up a huge question. How do we make sure it's focused on the right things? That's what this is all about.
Because that's the real trap, isn't it? In software, we can measure literally thousands of things. Lines of code, bug counts, how long it takes to ship a feature. The list is endless. But which of those numbers actually help you? What makes a measurement truly useful instead of just more noise?
And boom, here's the answer. This model, the Decisions Measures Dependency Model. The core idea is so simple but so powerful. A measure is only valuable if it is directly connected to a decision someone has to make. That's it. As you can see, it maps out the kind of decision against the kind of measure. If a metric doesn't help someone make a choice, it's probably not worth tracking.
So let's just quickly break down what we're looking at here. You've got two axes. The first is about the type of decision. Is it a big picture strategic choice or more in-the-weeds product choice? And the other axis is about the type of measure. Is it an indicator or is it a more detailed base or derived measure?
And this distinction is so key. Think of an indicator like the check engine light in your car. It just lights up and screams, hey, you need to make a decision here. It triggers an action. A base or derived measure, on the other hand, is like the detailed diagnostic report the mechanic runs on your car. It's the deep dive data you use to monitor the situation and figure out how to actually execute the decision you've made. You absolutely need both.
Okay, so that's the theory. But what does this shift from total guesswork to a data-driven approach actually look like out in the real world?
This slide just says it all, doesn't it? I mean, look at the left side. That is pure chaos. You've got the project manager running around, chasing people down for answers, trying to make a huge decision based on a bunch of subjective opinions. It's a massive manual effort. Now look at the right. So much better. That is clarity. An automated system pulls in the data, models the trend, and gives stakeholders a single objective picture to help them decide. It's a total game changer.
And that is the secret sauce that makes it all work. Automation. As soon as you automate data collection, it stops being this painful chore that nobody wants to do. It just becomes this seamless background process that gives you a continuous stream of strategic intelligence.
So let's wrap this all up by pulling back and looking at the bigger picture. Where does this whole engineering approach to software actually take us? What's the future this unlocks?
When you boil it all down, it comes back to this really simple but incredibly powerful loop. You automatically collect the right data, you analyze that data to gain real insight, maybe even predict what's coming next, and then you use those insights to make better, faster, and way more confident decisions.
And the payoff here is huge. Organizations that build this kind of data-driven foundation, they just make smarter bets. Their teams become more efficient, and ultimately, they build higher quality products that actually win in the market. It really is a direct path to excellence. And this is where things get really, really exciting for the future. You hear everyone talking about AI and machine learning, right? Well, what's the one thing those technologies need to work? Data. Clean, reliable, structured data. A strong measurement program is the absolute bedrock you need to build that future on.
So, I'll leave you with this one question to chew on. Think about your own work, your own team. What's just one decision that you make over and over that could be improved tomorrow if you just had one more piece of data? Starting there, well, that might just be the first step to building a much better future.